Hi, and welcome to Day 2 of Salesforce's Release Readiness Live for Spring 17. Thanks for joining us, whether you're able to join us for some of our sessions yesterday, or if this is your first time with us. I'm Mike Torres, and it's great to be here as we take a look at some of the greatest features and developments that our Sales Cloud has to offer. Now, as a final point, we are going to be looking at some of our product roadmap items today. So to properly set our expectations there, let's review Salesforce's forward-looking statement slide. Now, if you're unfamiliar with this slide, it urges Salesforce customers to remember, Salesforce is a publicly traded company, and any and all purchasing decisions should be made entirely on currently available functionality only. Simple as that.
Hi, I'm Andy Kang, Product Manager from Sales Cloud, and today I'll be talking to you about all the new exciting features on sales productivity. Let's talk about productivity, and I love talking about sales productivity because this is an area where you're going to continue to see a lot of new innovations that really helps your end users get more things done and sell more. And boy, do we have a lot of new exciting productivity features in the spring release. And the number one feature I want to kick off with is the new Lightning console for sales. Now, if this reminds you of the Sales Console from Classic, you are correct. We are moving Sales Console to Lightning. But in case you don't know what Sales Console is, it is optimized for users who are in a fast-paced sales environment. Users who has to work with multiple customers at the same time, have to manage multiple records at the same time. So with Sales Console, which is a new Lightning app that you're gonna get in the spring release, you can switch between workspaces. So you can open tabs, sub-tabs, all within the same browser tab. So if you know any of your users who are doing a lot of right clicks to open a lot of browser tabs today, and they're struggling to figure out which one is which, this is a much more effective way to multitask and keep everything in context. And they can pin any important tabs that they have. But the best thing is that Sales Console is just another Lightning app. That means you can configure it just like any other Lightning app. You can configure the utility bar at the bottom. That's where you can dock the record history component or notes. Or if you have CTI integration, that's where you can dock the phone component. Oops. And speaking of phone, I also want to talk about Lightning Voice. So in case you haven't heard of Lightning Voice, it is a new product that we launched last year. And it's a new add-on product. It's an add-on license to Sales Cloud. It allows you to make and receive calls right from the Lightning experience, all within your browser. There's no physical phone involved. And in spring release, we have more enhancement. Not only it works with the new Lightning console I mentioned earlier, but you can now create a customized call list and just power through that list of phone numbers with a dialer, one after another. It will save you a lot of clicks. And all the call activities are automatically logged. And if you get an incoming call and you're not available, you now also have a personal voicemail experience in Lightning. And if you're a manager, you can report on all the call activities so you can easily identify who your top performers are or which accounts that you're spending the most time speaking with. We also improved the email experience. Now for starters, you can now send emails on any activity-enabled objects, and we support all the standard objects as well as custom objects. And email is now a quick action. That means you can include email in the global actions menu, so you can send email from anywhere in the Lightning experience. And since it's just a quick action, that means you can also customize the layout of your email composer to streamline your business. In the spring release, you can also now send email using your organization-wide addresses. We also fill a lot of gaps in productivity. In spring release, you can now create recurring tasks, you can create follow-up tasks, and you can do all this on desktop as well as Salesforce One. And in spring release, you can also use global search to search for your tasks and events. So with that, I'm going to switch to my demo and show everything in action. Okay, so here I am on the Lightning experience. And as I mentioned earlier, starting in the spring release, you're going to get a new app in the app launcher called Sales Console. So let's switch to Sales Console. With Sales Console, that means you can open up multiple records at the same time, all within the same browser tab. So here I'm seeing a list of accounts. So let me open a couple of records here. So I open two accounts here. I have two tabs, and I'm looking at the Acme partners. This is an account. And I can continue to drill into here. So any related objects here, for example, I can open up the contacts here, and it's going to open a subtab under the master. I can keep drilling in. If I want to look at the campaign history associated with this account, I can do that. That's another subtab. And as you can see, it's very easy to switch contacts, to switch different workspaces. All I need to do is to flip back and forth the different tab. And again, this is all within the same browser window. You no longer have to open a bunch of windows and figure out which one is which. And you can also drag and drop and rearrange the tabs. If I work with Acme partners very often, I can even pin this so it's always up in the front for quick access. Oh, and the best thing is that we remember your browser, your tab orders and what tabs that you open. So the next time you log in into Lightning Experience, all your tabs are going to be here in the right order, so you can just pick up where you left off. Also, in the Sales Console, you're gonna see we also support now 3-column layout. So you see a lot more with less scrolling. On the left side, you have your account details. In the middle, here are your interaction with your customers. On the right side, here are your related informations and related list. So you see a lot more information here. And again, this is just another Lightning app. That means you can use the Lightning App Builder to do a lot of the customization. For example, the logo here, the color, the object that shows up in the Sales Console, as well as the utility bar at the bottom. These are all customizable with the Lightning App Builder. Now let's focus on the utility bar. Here, I have my phone component. I have a history component here, and notice that the history record component show you not just the master tab, but also the sub tab as well. And you can just easily copy the link to that record and send it to somebody. And you can have your notes component here as well. And as you can see, the great thing about Sales Console is that you can quickly switch to different workspaces very efficiently. So it's really optimized for the fast-paced sales environment. And one great use case is for inside sales. So let's say I am an inside sales user. So every day I have a list of prospects I need to call. Now typically what you would do is that I will open the record, dial the phone number, on the call, take some notes, log the call, and I'll come back to the list view and then call the next one. And I do this over and over again. But now, with Spring Release, there's a more effective way with the new Lightning Voice. All I need to do is I can multi-select the records I want to call today, and I can create a call list. And here, I have a call list right in the Doc Composer. So that allows me to not always have to switch back to the list view. And from this point on, all I need to do is click on Call Next on the dialer. And what it's doing is that it automatically opens the record, automatically dial the phone number. So I'm on the call. I can take some notes. And after the call, you'll prompt me to log this call right here. Now, sometimes you may have different processes based on the outcome of the call. So in this case, let's say I left a voicemail, so I set the call disposition and log this call. And under the hood, I have a process that kicked off that automatically advanced the stage of this record. As you can see, now I'm on the working stage. And if I refresh the timeline, I also have a process that automatically create a follow-up task for me to call this person back later. So I'm done with this record, right? With just a few clicks, I'm ready for the next one. And instead of switching back to the list view, I click on Call Next. Again, it's gonna open the record, it's gonna dial, I'm on the call again, I take some notes, and you can also, instead of having the system prompt you to log the call every time, I can just say, hey, just automatically log every call for me. So when I end the call, I won't even get prompt. This call is automatically logged. The process is gonna kicked out, it's gonna advance the stage. And I'm done, on to the next one, right? You save so many clicks, and if you're in inside sales, any clicks matters, right? So that's about phone calls. So let's talk about emails. Now, in Spring Release, you can email from anywhere in the Lightning Experience. So let's say I forget to email a prospect I talked to yesterday. I just go to the global actions menu. I can click send an email. So I no longer have to look for the record first and then send an email. I can just do it from anywhere. So I will just use the, let's say we need to contact Reggie. And based on the recipient here, I can also leverage the merge field or a predefined email template. So I already have one defined. Let me insert it here. And I can preview the email right from here and send it out. Simple as that, right? And as I mentioned, now since email is just a quick action, that also allows you to customize the layout of the component. For example, here I have another email action called email HR. So here I already have preset value for the to, the from email addresses, and I just simply remove those fields from the composer. And that helps me to streamline the business process and just keep the experience simple. Last thing I want to show you is the new and improved task experience. So I can use task in the Lightning console as well. So let's say I have a task I need to check in, right? And let's say I'm done with this task, but I want to create a follow-up task. I can just click on create follow-up task and notice not only we create a new task for you, but we move all the values over. So you just need to make some simple changes and save it. And in the Spring release, we also now support recurring tasks. So you have this option if you want to create a recurring task. So just to sum up, in the Spring release, you have the new Sales Console that help you multitask more effectively. You have Lightning Voice that help you power through a list of phone numbers with less clicks. And you have a new improved task experience, and you can send email anywhere from the Lightning experience. And that's just a little highlight for what's coming this Spring release. But I'll pause here and see if we have any questions.
Yeah, I mean, our customers who depend on Salesforce for productivity must be thrilled with what you showed them.
I hope so.
Yeah, Elna, what are they saying?
They're keeping me very busy. So I can tell you lots of questions and shout outs coming in. Paul, shout out to Paul. He loves the custom call list, and lots of people asking about the console. Clearly a lot of interest there. And just to clarify for Jason and others, what editions of Salesforce include the Sales Console?
Do you guys know the answer to that? I think it's included in the professional and above, but we can double check.
If it's the same as it was last year, professional edition and above, if you have Sales Cloud, depending on when you purchased your licenses. So in general, if you have Sales Cloud and professional edition and above, and I believe the when you bought your licenses kind of depends on whether you have just the Sales Cloud or you have other features.
Yeah, let's follow up on that one.
Yeah, we'll give you that. We actually did some webinars last year on the Lightning editions, which was when the console was opened up to professional. So we just need to double check that it applies to Lightning as well, right? And so speaking of the console, again, Michael picked up that you mentioned it was in beta, or it says in the release notes that it's
Good
in beta. So what would be the immediate limitations or challenges that you would experience as compared to, let's say, the console in Classic? So if you've already got a console going in Classic, which is, as you mentioned, a different architecture, so what would be the criteria for maybe being an early adopter versus waiting a little longer?
Yep, good question. For starters, if you are not using Sales Console right now, definitely give it a try, right? And if you're currently using Sales Consoles, there are some limitations today, and we are adapting the same approach for the rest of the Lightning experience. We are going to move features over so we have feature parity. In the same time, we try to reimagine the experience. So today, there are some gaps in Sales Console. That's why I call it a beta. So for things like macros, things like keyboard shortcuts, these are things that's on our short-term roadmap and we're trying to fill. And especially if you have a more complex processes with your Sales Console, I would really encourage you to give it a try and really identify the blockers similar to the approach for the Lightning experience, right? Give it a try. Tell us what's preventing you from using it, and that's also going to help us prioritize the backlog.
Well, everybody does have a sandbox, so play with it in your sandbox and show it to some of your power users, right? Who give you a lot of feedback,
Yes,
and
exactly.
there's no harm in experimenting, right? So, thinking of different use cases for console now that it's expanded in its usability, and especially in Lightning, could you make an admin console? Let's say Francisco was wondering.
Good question. So, if you watch the Service Cloud session yesterday, you're also gonna you will remember there's also a Service Console, and the cool thing is that all the console experiences are built on top of the same platform. And with the new Lightning app builder, you could create new apps, new console apps, and just assign it to admins, right? So, like I said, it is just another Lightning app. That's why it's so great, it's so awesome. And you can create, the console you want, target the users that you are targeting. So you can definitely do that.